Alright guys, so real quick, I've got this grill already removed, and so basically there's just some clips here that you pop out with a screwdriver, and there's two little, one there and one there that it just kind of pulls out of. And so with this off, we can find a place for our makeshift cooler, which is going to be the Hayden 677. Get these on Amazon. Very inexpensive. This one was on sale for like $33 when I got it. So the 676 is a smaller version, and it actually costs more, so that's why I went with this one. But you just got to make sure that there's room. But these are very well made for the money coolers, and so I also picked these up. These are 3/8 to 3/8 hose barbs, and we're just going to connect that to some hose and get this thing connected. So guys, very common on these things, I don't know if you can see it in there, the factory power steering cooler. I don't think you can really make that out, but there's a power steering cooler up in there that they leak, and it's a very common thing. And so all we're trying to do here is save ourselves the trouble of removing this bumper, because that's not something I feel like doing. It is the right way to fix it, you know, buy the part and remove the bumper, and I think there's videos online to show you how to do that. But in the interest of time and ease, we're going to leave the old part in there. Again, I don't know if you can see it, and we're just going to bypass it and come right up here and put this other cooler in. Guys, always make sure your vehicle's safely supported and wheels chocked, all that. I have the jack here just as a secondary, but always use, you know, jack stands or ramps. So I want to show you, I bypassed this about a week ago in order to give them the ability to not have to add power steering fluid every day. I mean, that's how bad the leak had gotten. As you can see, there are the hose barbs for the existing cooler, which, for the reasons I stated, I don't feel like or have the time to remove the bumper cover and all that. So we're just going to leave the defunct factory part in place. And I mean, I do not recommend doing this for more than a few days at a time. So we're basically going to pull that apart and add our splice connectors in, because this one's actually too small. I had to tighten it down really good to get it to stop leaking. So I bought those 3/8 barbed ones from Amazon, and those should fit a lot better. And then we'll hook in that other cooler. As an A-side, I am doing an Amsoil oil and filter change today. I'm not going to be documenting that in this video. There is a video on this exact vehicle from the last time I did it, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. So here's the hose I'm going to be using. I bought this on Amazon a long time ago because from time to time, I do enough of these transmission cooler installations, and so in this case power steering. But yeah, it's 3/8 inside diameter, it's oil rated, so I bought this and it makes sense for me. Now the hose that comes in the kit is perfectly fine, but it's not 3/8 like this, so it's a really tight fit to get it onto the barbs on the cooler. Now some people like that because, you know, if you're worried about it coming loose, but I'll just show you here. I like the 3/8 because it's also bigger, you know, as far as in the interest of not restricting flow. But you can see this is very well built hose. You could get Gates brand, but this is also a really good brand in transmission and all that kind of stuff. So you just want to make sure the hose you use is oil rated, or the oil will degrade the hose, and that's not going to be good. So let's look at the hose that comes in the kit. Here's those barbs I was talking about. I just got these on Amazon. And so, yeah, there's the hose. I think it's 11/32, so just a little bit smaller, but you'll definitely have a little more trouble getting it on the barbs there. So guys, I don't intend for this to be a complete step-by-step on how, I mean, you kind of have to determine how you want to, you know, put this in and mount it yourself. It comes with the things to like zip ties to stick it through your AC condenser, and that's probably fine, and I've actually done it in the past and never had a problem, but I don't feel comfortable doing it anymore. So I usually just zip tie it to something up here and kind of, you know, redneck it in like I was saying. But you know, so this is just to give you an idea of an alternative method to replacing the factory part and taking this bumper off. The people got a price quote on having it done, and I think the quote was somewhere around $500 for everything. And you know, that is the way to do it right. But if you want to, you know, do this and, you know, save a few bucks, it just depends what you're looking to do. This is also a good time if you're going to all this trouble to connect these hoses and put this cooler in. This is also a good time to think about a magnetic inline filter from MAGNEFINE. So get those on Amazon as well, but I don't think we're doing all that today. The important thing in that case is determining direction of flow. So you just have to trace your lines to determine which way the fluid actually flows, or, you know, with the lines loose, start the engine momentarily and have a helper verify which, you know, which hose down here on the bottom the fluid is actually flowing from. Alright guys, I did have one of these MAGNEFINEs on my shelf, so I thought, why not throw it in? We're already doing all this. So get these on Amazon. This is a 3/8, and the flow direction is very important because it's a you want the fluid to go through the filter the correct way. But these also have a super powerful magnet inside, so transmissions and power steering, it really helps to protect them. And so I figured, hey, we're doing all this, why not throw one in, go the extra mile. So determining your flow direction is super important if you're installing the MAGNEFINE filter. And that I had my wife start the engine while I had both of those lines stuck into this jug here, and we determined that the one sticking straight down is the that's where the fluid flows from, and the one that still has the metal fitting stuck in the end with the black tip on the end is the return to the pump. And that's why I have that one capped, because if I uncap it, fluid will dribble out and it's just coming out of the pump. But when the engine was started, it came out very forcefully and obviously from the one sticking straight down. Oh, and another good note is, if you need to do a power steering fluid flush, now's a great time to do it. This ramp I'm not even using. I have the car raised with the jack, but it's supported by jack stands. There they are. So with the wheels off the ground, before you connect all this, you could have a helper turn the key on. Don't start the engine because it'll pump it out in a hurry, and just turn the wheel from lock to lock while you've got your hoses sitting in a going into a drain pan or a jug, and you add clean fluid in through here while they slowly turn the wheel lock to lock, and you'll flush that system out. We didn't need to do that today because the leak was so bad they were adding fluid, and this is some of the fluid I drained out, and it looks good enough to reuse if we need to, but I think we've got enough in the new bottles. So Hey guys, under the front of the vehicle, so driver's side, that bolt right there, and there's one like it on the other side, and here's like we said, the metal pipe sticking out from the old cooler. I don't know if it's possible, but I pulled this down. This piece of plastic here is pretty loose. That's old power steering cooler right there, this thing with these fins. So dude, if it's as easy as, I mean, if you can take those two bolts out and then finagle those pipes out, you might be able to even replace the factory cooler without removing the bumper. And so we've already come this far with the cheap replacement, so we're going to continue that. But I mean, heck, if I can take this thing out, why not just get it out of the way? And passenger side, that bolt right there, where is it? Right here. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. So I wanted to stop midway and show you what's going on here, guys. I took out the bolts on either end, and I brought the cooler down from the passenger side, and now the only thing you've got is you got to figure out how to finagle those pipes out of the driver's side. So that's where I'm at now, but I want to show you because I have a feeling this thing's about to come out of here. And so with a little bit of finagling, you might be able to do this without removing your front bumper. So, man, I can't really hold the camera and do this too well, but I mean, there's literally, if you see this plastic right here, it's pretty soft and easy to bend, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, if you wanted to cut it out, I don't recommend it because I think it helps direct the airflow up to, there we go, maybe. But anyway, I think it's possible, and since we're not putting one of these new ones back in, I'm not too worried about it. But then the you know, if you're doing it with the factory cooler, you'd want to know you could finagle it back in, but I'll let you know here in a minute if I get it out. Alright guys, I'm almost in disbelief. This is the old part. I never intended to take this out, and that's the whole reason for doing the job this way with this. Well, not the whole reason, but I didn't want to take the front bumper off, and I also didn't, the cost of this, somewhere around 200 bucks factory, I think, and you can get a aftermarket for around 100. But you know, the idea was the ease of not having to mess with all this, and I'm almost in shock. You know, it took some finagling, no doubt, and so would I recommend, you know, I've got it out, would I be able to get a brand new one in without damaging it? Or, you know, you got to be careful of the other parts on the car, like the plastic radiator tanks on the bottom of the radiator and stuff when you're trying to finagle these in. But I mean, it's probably doable, because I mean, I obviously got this one out without too much trouble, but this one was actually leaking over on this end. So, but it's just very interesting, guys. That came out of there, you know, a lot easier than I thought. I did not think it would have. So just an FYI. Alright guys, I ended up using the piece of hose that came with the kit because it did go on just fine, and I'm using fuel injection clamps. I recommend, I used a brand before called ABA. I think they're made in Switzerland. Get those on Amazon, and this is a different brand I had laying around, and they seem fine, but I just remember the ABAs seemed a lot easier to work with. So I've got the hose in a loop, which is one way to do it. There's different ways to do it, but I'm just going to stick it down through there and see where I need to cut it. I am going to use some of this, also get this on Amazon, but some protective conduit. You want to do what you can to protect the hose from rubbing against metal or against anything, really. Alright, so nothing's mounted yet, but I did I've got my hoses, my clamps, my plastic protective conduit, and you just want to, I'm personally choosing not to send the zip ties through the condenser, but I am using their little foam pads that are included with the kit, and so that's just to, you want to have some cushion. You don't want to knock any holes in your condenser that way. There's two more down there. There's one and one there. So what I'm doing is, again, pretty much a redneck installation. I'm gonna kind of find out where it's happy to sit along with the length of tubing. I'm probably gonna end up cutting it off. There it is. You can see it hanging down with the conduit, and so we're probably gonna end up having plenty of hose there. And but I'm just gonna pretty much do zip ties around here. We'll go around here somewhere, and you can see one of these is broken off that retains the GMC grill. That was already done. I didn't do it. They are easy to break, so be careful when you're popping those out, by the way. But anyway, so we might zip tie down here. This conduit's already here. This is part of the vehicle. I mean, just to keep it in place. But honestly, with those hoses and clamps on there, you can see it kind of sitting in place. So, but you just want it, you don't want it bouncing back and forth and causing any wear to your AC condenser or to this cooler itself. But guys, you could use what I'm doing to you could absolutely throw a tranny cooler over here of the same thing, and connect that in with your transmission cooler lines, and also one of the MAGNEFINE filters. Just verify your flow direction. And so let's get this thing going. Let's get it buttoned up. Alright guys, what's more redneck than zip ties? There we go. So it turns out the cooler's not even touching the condenser at all, as you can see. So it's kind of floating. It's just kind of hanging there with the things, but it's not moving. I mean, it's you got it in four corners basically, and it's just kind of held in place pretty nice, and I think it'll be good. I'll have to show you what I did on my Honda Pilot. I put one of the bigger ones of these on as a transmission cooler. Haven't had any issues with it. So alright guys, well, everything's in place. So you can see I've got the filter, I got everything there, got the mileage, the date on it, the flow direction we verified as correct when we started it earlier, and I'm really glad I was able to get the old cooler out, because yeah, coming through here there's a ton of space. I mean, this plastic thing here is super flexible. So I've got my conduit covered hoses. They're nice and loose. Nothing is there's nothing under tension, or everything's just nice. And so between those two hoses, that factory hose and then the add-on hose, is that brass hose barb adapter. Guys, do yourself a favor and use the ABA made in Switzerland ones. Find those on Amazon. I had some other brand, and those ABA ones they just feel better, and they're actually a hair bigger. The size that's supposed to fit a 3/8 hose fits better than, like that one right there with the screw head on it. It's flat slotted screw head is a different brand, and they just, I don't know, the ABAs feel like they're better made. So I've just got this thing zip tied up here out of the way, more conduit, so there's no issues with rubbing. But guys, I think we're about ready to fill everything up and get this thing going. Again, we looked at this before, how I've got it, and there's that space in between. The fan's going to pull some air through there, and obviously going down the road you're going to get the nice ram air effect. And again, you could use these same principles and ideas to put a transmission cooler over here if you wanted to. remember when you put your grill back on, reconnect your washer fluid connection there. I think that's only on the Denali models. Alright guys, I'm very pleased. I don't see any leaks. I had to add, what, a bottle and a half. So probably 20 ounces of power steering fluid. I didn't end up adding this back in. I figured, hey, might as well get some old stuff out. And I know it's not that old because it's been leaking real bad, but since we had new stuff, we went ahead and put that in. But doesn't look like anything's leaking. It's even a good shot. But yeah, so if you're not familiar, the Amsoil is 100% chemically engineered synthetic, and so go ahead and check out the oil change video I did on this one before if you want all the details on that, and check my link down in the first comment below for links to my Amsoil Dealer website to make a purchase or look up your vehicle. But anyway, I mean, here you go with the Hayden cooler. We're gonna go test drive it, but I checked it on the stick and it was good, but I'm sure a few more turns lock to lock, it may get some air out of there, but I'd say we're good. So in conclusion, well, we'll get this grill back on, but in conclusion, you may have decided from the fact that I got this one out that you can, you know, try to get your new one in. That I don't know, that's up to you. I'm not promising you can, but anyway, I got the old one out without pulling the bumper off. As you saw in my video, it came right out the bottom. Alright, well here she is, all buttoned back up. Got the grill back on, and she's idling good. I mean, no, there was a little bit of cavitation noise at first, but you just had to get that air out of the pump. You know, getting the oil circulated through and turning lock to lock. But there's our thing, and barely warm yet. You can feel though it's heating up, but I think that cooler is really an improvement over stock. So, and that's what it looks like coming out from under that flexible plastic piece there. And then if you peek through, well, if you could see in there, you'd see there's no more factory cooler. And if you can see through here, I don't know if you can, but you can see the one we just installed. There it is. I think you can make out the fins and everything. If you can make out, there it is, Hayden. So, alright guys, it can be our little redneck secret. Guys, check out my website, number1synthetic.com. I am Mike Trull Amsoil Dealer, 146-3115. All the deets in the first comment below. I would appreciate it, guys. Subscribe, share, comment, like. I appreciate it, guys. God bless you. Alright, so if you're looking for this stuff, it's easy to get. You can go to my website, number1synthetic.com. There's a link down in the first comment. And you can look up your vehicle, type in the year, make, model, and engine, and you'll get a list of the products Amsoil recommends. If you don't mind, there's my dealer number, 146-3115. If you go through amsoil.com, it's going to ask you for who referred you, and I would love if you would put my name and or dealer number. That dealer number is probably the best thing, 146-3115. But I appreciate it.